especially during the public speaking part of it. And I turn it over to Commissioner File.
I see. Well, thank you for that excellent prelude. At this time, we're going to convene our Wednesday, May 6th Commissioners meeting. We're going to start the meeting off by just recognizing, I hear that today is National Nurses Appreciation Day. And I just thought it would be appropriate, given the situation we're in, to recognize, all our nurses, as well as all the folks out there providing essential services to us that we need, and we certainly appreciate their efforts. At this time, we're going to move to the minutes and approve the minutes of the April 22nd meeting as presented. The April 29th meeting was canceled, and the next public meeting is May 20th, 2020. So any comments on the approval of the minutes of April 22nd?
This is Mr. Martin. I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of April 22nd.
Second.
Okay, the motion second on the minutes. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, the minutes are approved. We have three proclamations this morning. The first one is Corrections Employee Week, and again, this is very timely for these folks to be recognized for their work all year round, but especially given the last month and a half, again, providing those essential services that I mentioned earlier. Do we have anybody out there to address Corrections Employee Week? I know Commissioner Martin is going to read the proclamation in a moment. Okay, if not, Commissioner Martin, I turn it over to you.
Okay, I'd like to read this well-deserved proclamation for the week of May 3rd to the 9th, 2020. Whereas Pennsylvania's correctional system is the oldest in the nation, evolving from the establishment of the Philadelphia's Walnut Street Jail in 1773 and the Eastern Penitentiary in 1829. And whereas the Pennsylvania system, as it became known, was the leading influence in the development of penology throughout the 19th century and the forerunner of modern corrections. Whereas today, with a 285-bed secure facility, a 164-bed reentry facility housing approximately 320 local and federal inmates, Adams County faces continued difficult challenges in corrections. And whereas the secure and safe operation and management of the Adams County Adult Correctional Complex rests in the hands of more than 150 trained, skilled, and dedicated correctional professionals. They are correctional officers, counselors, treatment specialists, educators, clerical support staff, administrators, clergy, medical professionals, food service specialists, and maintenance technicians upon whose skill, efficiency, and professionalism the functions of the Adams County Correctional System depends on 24/7. Whereas, although each of these dedicated professionals work in a different field and specialize in a specific area, are all committed to the common goal, that is the secure, safe, and humane operation of our county's correctional facility. And whereas these dedicated professionals have risen to an unprecedented challenge in the year 2020 to prevent the introduction of the novel coronavirus, COVID-19, into the county's correctional facility through the faithful performance of their duties as essential personnel. Throughout the pandemic, they have been unwavering in their commitment to providing essential services to the inmate population and the residents of the County of Adams. Now, therefore, be it resolved, we, the Commissioners of Adams County, in conjunction with National Correction Officers Employee Week and Pennsylvania's Correction Employees Week, do hereby proclaim May 3rd through the 9th, 2020, as Correctional Employee Week in Adams County, Pennsylvania. We encourage all Adams County residents to recognize the vital role these dedicated professionals play in ensuring the effective operation of our correctional system in the interest of public safety and community reintegration. And I'd like to repeat that the commitment of the staff has been essential to meeting the unique challenges that we obviously are facing in 2020. And so I'd like to thank you, all of you that work hard at the correctional institution, for your support during a time of enhanced measures to deal with the coronavirus. So thank you for your support and for your continued support as we make our ways through a very difficult time.
All right, thank you, sir. I think we all echo that recognition. If there's no other comment, I'll ask for a motion to approve the proclamation for Corrections Employee Week.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion and second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Corrections Employee Week is proudly approved. All right, moving on to our next proclamation, we have Conservation District Week, May 3rd to the 9th, and I do believe that both Sherry and Adam are on the line, so I'll ask if they have any comment.
Adam's going to handle this morning for us.
All right, Adam, you have the floor.
Okay. One of the things I guess I just want to highlight, just some background and some information for the commissioners that I did, as part of Conservation District Week, send out a letter to our state legislators. And just to highlight a few projects, we assisted 16 farms on the design and installation of practices to reduce soil erosion and nutrient runoff. These projects assisted farmers in staying in compliance with state and federal laws and brought in additional $250,000 of federal funds into Adams County farms. We assisted local municipalities in completing 5 dirt, gravel, low-volume road projects, about $315,000. We installed approximately 20 acres of forest riparian buffers along local streams with local volunteers, students, and contractors, and administered our second year of the Pennsylvania Tick Surveillance Program. These are only a portion of the positive environmental and economic impacts that we've achieved by working with both the state government in their budget process and also with the county and the county commissioners. And we look forward to continuing to help meet state goals and federal mandates. One of the last things that we requested in that letter from the state legislators is that we requested that the Commonwealth 2020-2021 budget kept level funding for Conservation District in both the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture and Pennsylvania Environmental Protection budget line. And again, I'd just like to make comment that as the Conservation District Division Manager, and I think I could speak on behalf of the board, we appreciate all the support that the county provides and the guidance that they provide to the district division. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you for being with us this morning. Is there any other comment regarding the Conservation District Week?
Yeah. I'd just like to commend our Conservation District staff because in addition to the soil and erosion control they do and the special projects, it means an awful lot to the quality of our water supply in the county. So that also, I think, needs to be mentioned, their efforts and what they mean to improving our water quality.
And I will just bring up, I think it's a large elephant in the room, is the fact that I think the last several years that the relationship between the Conservation District and the county has reached new heights. And I think that's to the benefit of everyone, the county, the Conservation District staff, and especially the residents who we are charged to serve. So I couldn't be more pleased with the leadership and the relationship that's going on and the service that we do provide. So if you all would take that back to your staff, the board would appreciate that. All right, I have the privilege of reading the Conservation District Week proclamation, May 3rd to the 9th. Whereas conservation districts are local units of government established under Pennsylvania Act 217, which is Conservation District law, to carry out natural resource management program, and whereas conservation districts were created in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania in 1945 in response to the Dust Bowl of the 1930s to improve soil and water conservation. And each county in the Commonwealth has a conservation district except for Philadelphia. And whereas the Adams County Conservation District works with landowners and local governments to assist in the management and protection of valuable land and water resources on private and public lands. And our local municipalities rely on conservation district staff to assist in the development process in a way that conserves and protects the local environment. And the Adams County Conservation District also works with many partners, including government agencies, private organizations, businesses, and others to accomplish their mission of promoting the voluntary conservation and good stewardship of Adams County's natural resources. And the Adams County Conservation District is led by a volunteer board of directors with farmers, public members, and a member of county government. The board assists in identifying local conservation needs and provides guidance on which programs and services to offer. Now, therefore, be it further resolved that we, the Adams County Commissioners, do hereby proclaim May 3rd through May 9th, 2020 as Conservation District Week, commemorating the great work accomplished by the Adams County Conservation District and Pennsylvania's 66 conservation districts. So, thank you for Sherry and Adam for being with us today. If there's no further comment, I'll ask for a motion to approve Conservation District Week, May 3rd to the 9th, 2020.
Can I just make a real quick comment before you do that?
You sure may.
I could not get my mute button off previously. I apologize. I just I wanted to, as the director, I wanted to really give a shout out to the staff that are still currently working with the district. They are really really inundated with some things now since construction's opened, and they're doing a fantastic job, and I want to commend them for that. So thanks for giving me the opportunity to be able to do that.
Good, thank you. Thank you for being here today. Okay, I'm looking for a motion for Conservation District Week.
Motion approved. Second.
Okay, a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, so that proclamation is approved. The last proclamation, which we do annually, is Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month. Is there anybody on the line to address that? Okay, not hearing any comment, we're going to defer the reading of the proclamation and go right to approval. Again, this is an annual proclamation, which we are certainly glad to make folks aware that there are motorcycles on the road, and we need to be cognizant of them. Do I hear a motion to approve Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month is approved. Thank you very much, everyone, for participating in the proclamations. At this time, we move on to the public comment period. Per the agenda, if we have any public comment, now is the time to make that public comment. Is there anybody out there in telephone land with a public comment? Okay, going once. All right, hearing no public comment this morning, we'll move right on to the courts. Don.
Good morning, everybody. So, I know we are focused so much on everything that is happening day to day, but we have to start looking ahead to 2021 to set holidays so we can start developing our 2021 court calendar. So, before you have a list of holidays that are being proposed by the court. The court is asking for your review and concurrence so we can proceed to develop the 2021 court calendar. There are 14 dates noted there. These are days that we have generally recognized in the past. I would urge your approval on these, and if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
I actually see no issue, Don. I'll defer to my colleagues if they have any comments or questions.
I have none.
I'm good. All right, then. Sounds like there's no comments or discussion. So, at this time, I'll ask for a, motion to approve the following 2021 holidays per the agenda. Push to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion is second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Yeah. Okay, the 2021 holidays are approved. Thank you, Don.
Thank you very much.
All right, moving on to the controller department. John or Beth?
Yeah, I'll take it. So each year, the county has to prepare an OPEB plan for the audit. It's the post-employment benefits plan for the county. And this year we have to do, last year we did a roll forward. This year we have to do a new plan. And the cost is going to be $9,000. And we're required to prepare this plan based on following GASB 74 and 75, which are reporting requirements on our financial statements. So we are, again, want to have an engagement letter signed with municipal finance partners who performed the plan analysis last year. So we ask for your approval and signature on the engagement letter.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for John or Beth?
None.
Okay, hearing none, I'll ask for a motion on that item.
I make a motion to approve the engagement letter.
Second. Okay, a motion is second. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that matter is approved. Thank you. Okay, moving down the agenda to ag land preservation. I know Alan's on the call.
I am. Good morning again. Today we have 4 farms which I have signed offer letters. All 4 farms have had the title report completed, and there's no glaring issues. And of all 4 farms, I only have one that I will need to be getting a subordination agreement from. So that is a positive with all of this that's happening. The first is the Rick and Cherry Rex Farm. It's 48.34 acres. The survey work will be needed on this farm. There are a possibility of 2 right-of-ways, which we will research and make sure we have taken care of prior to the easement being recorded. Dave Slayball from Mountain Ridge Farms is the operator, and this farm is $2,358 an acre. And I'll just do all 4, and we can do one sweeping motion if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine, Alan.
Okay, the second farm is the Macbeth Family Farm, 29.93 acres. The survey work is also needed on this farm. There is a possibility of 1 right-of-way, which, again, we'll take care of prior to settlement. And this one is $2,340 an acre, and the owners are the operator of this farm. The Lowball Farm is 27.5 acres. Survey work is also needed on this farm. This is also operated by the owners, and $2,371.50 an acre. The Fletcher Farm is 56.838 acres. No survey is needed on this farm. Yay. The owners also operate this farm, and this is $2,547 an acre. And I would like to mention that all of these farms are on the smaller side, as you can note. Commissioners, I did send you the maps of these farms, and if you note, all of these are within a cluster area of preserved farms. They're connecting other preserved farms to each other, and that's what we tend to see, especially when the majority of the property is in cropland versus trees or anything else. I don't know if anyone has any specific questions on any of these farms, but I will ask for the approval of the offer letters for the purchase of the conservation easements for the Lowball, Rex, Fletcher, and Macbeth farms, and for Chairman Powell to sign the agreement of sale on behalf of the Board of Commissioners when that time comes. And Solicitor Mudd has approved moving forward on these offers.
All right, any questions or comments for Ellen?
I'm good. I'm good, none.
Okay, then hearing no questions or comment, I'll ask for a motion on all four of these properties.
Motion approved.
Second.
Okay, a motion and second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, those four items are approved. Thank you, Ellen.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we move on to Children and Youth Services. I'm not sure who will be doing that one.
That will be me. This is Paula Nyman, the Chief Clerk, and on behalf of Sarah Finke, the Administrator, and after review by Solicitor Mudd, I'm asking for your approval and signature for the Child Accounting and Profile System, the CAPS, Application Service Provider Agreement with Avanco International, Inc. of Clifton, Virginia, for the maintenance and management of the statewide child welfare data system. The term of the agreement is for 12 months. It is effective July 1st, 2020, at a cost to the county of $32,843.04. I will also go ahead and add the next one. It is a 2020-2021 purchase of service agreement with Bilingual Conexion, LLC, for in-home services, and that purchase agreement is effective May 6, 2020 through June 30, 2021. I ask for your approval.
Very good. Any questions or comments on either one of those items?
None.
Okay, hearing none, I'll ask for a motion to approve both those items.
Make a motion to approve both of these items presented by Chief Clerk.
Okay, a motion second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, those two items are approved. Thank you. All right, moving on to the Planning Department, and I think Rebecca is with us this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We have two items on the agenda today. The first one is in regard to some of the many different plans that the county has to maintain to comply with the requirements of several grant programs, the Community Development Block Grant, Emergency Solutions Grant, and Home Program. And as you know, these have to be periodically reviewed and revised. So right now, on the agenda today, I have a request for the board to adopt a revised Section 3 Action Plan, Minority Women-Owned Business Enterprise Plan, and the Citizen Participation Plan as amended on behalf of both the county and also the entitlement CDBG programs of Gettysburg Borough and Littlestown Borough, which we administer on their behalf. So I can tell you that the changes to the Section 3 plan and Minority Women-Owned Business Plan are not major. They were originally combined as one plan, and our grant pass-through agency, the Department of Community and Economic Development at the state, told us that we need to have two separate plans. So I have separated them. The other item I'll mention in regard to Section 3 is that it does now state that Robert Baylor is the designated Section 3 compliance officer. This was already the case. It had been made official via a resolution by the board in 2017, but now the plan reflects that as well. It had not been updated. The final plan on the agenda for your approval is the Citizen Participation Plan. That one has had the most changes. It has been revised quite a bit from the original, the one that was currently in place. But it simply has been revised to reflect our current practice. So we're really not changing how the undertake citizen participation for these three grant programs. It's just been written down to reflect that, except for one item, and that is that HUD has recently issued a number of waivers to the citizen participation process for these three grants in response to the coronavirus pandemic. They have allowed grantees to reduce the amount of time required for public comment before public hearings from 10 days to 5 days. And they've also authorized us to use virtual public hearings rather than doing them in person, as long as local and state and federal authorities are advising social distancing. So by readopting our plan now with these waivers included, we can utilize them. And we will have some citizen participation process for the Community Development Block Grant and the Emergency Solutions Grant coming up in just a few weeks. So that is what has been changed. Are there any questions?
Any questions for Rebecca?
None?
Okay, then we'll, excuse me, then we'll go ahead and ask for, if there's no comment or questions, we'll ask for a motion on that matter.
First to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, that matter is approved.
Thank you. Moving on to the second agenda item. We are also at this time requesting that the board approve and authorize the chairman to sign a 3-year project activity completion extension request for the 2017 Community Development Block Grant C000069657. This will extend the end date for invoicing the projects to add HVAC to the Hart Center main building in New Oxford, to New Hope Ministries Workforce Development Program, Middletown Boroughs Food Grant Program, Gettysburg Boroughs Food Grant Program, Austin Valley Municipal Authority's Wealth Creation Project, and Adams County Arts Council Seniors Using Citizens Senior Parking Program to extend the end date from March 15th, 2021 to March 15th, 2022. And this is being requested at this time because due to the pandemic and the shutdown, especially the moratorium on construction, has significantly delayed progress on implementing all of these activities. We are now starting to pick up again, especially on construction, but it's been obviously significantly delayed by circumstances currently, and so we are requesting an extension for 1 year to give us another 12 months to complete these programs. And at this time, asking for your approval of this request.
Very good. Any comments or questions on any of those items in that request?
No comments. I'd like to make a motion to approve this extension for the CDBG grant program.
Second.
Do we have a motion and a second? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, those grant requests are approved. Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you.
Okay, now moving on to elections and voter registration, which is an interesting one. We already had an interesting dynamic with the new mail-in prior to COVID, and now the COVID has certainly changed the way we're probably going to vote and certain dynamics involved with that process. So I'll turn this over to our solicitor, Molly Mudd, to give us a update and request some approvals on that matter. Ms. Mudd.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, Commissioners. This morning, on behalf of Elections Director Angie Kraus, I am going to present to the Board 4 items for your approval today. I'd like to group the first 3 items. They're all contract matters together for your consideration. As you noted, Commissioner File, these purchases are necessitated by the effect that the COVID virus pandemic has had on Pennsylvania's primary election. So all 3 of these purchases are to support the primary election that's now scheduled for June 2nd. The first matter, I'm asking for your approval of a purchase from Quadient Neopost of Milford, Connecticut. This is a CoStarz participating company. This is for the purchase of a power letter opener to assist in the processing of absentee ballot applications in preparation for the primary election. The cost to the county is $6,329. As the board is aware, we are anticipating in excess of 10,000 absentee ballots this year, which is far in excess of anything we've ever processed in the past. So that's the first contract item. Is it okay to continue with the second 2?
Yes, ma'am.
All righty. Thank you, sir. The second item is an agreement with AAR Plastics and Glass Plexiglass Shield Contract. This is for the purchase of 110 plexiglass shields to insulate and protect staff and citizens from exposure to COVID-19 during the primary election. The cost is $99.50 per unit. The total cost to the county is $10,945. I believe the board had the opportunity to see the photographs of the schematics. These are just tall plexiglass shields that will sit on top of the tables. So, in other words, you're kind of having a face mask between you and the individual coming in to vote. So this is all an attempt to keep staff safe and also to keep county residents safe that are coming in to exercise their right to vote. The third contract item I have this morning on behalf of Director Kraus is an agreement with William Penn Printing Company of Pittsburgh. This is for the testing and calibration of the county's voting machines in preparation for the June 2nd primary election. The cost to the county is $3,000. So I'm asking for your approval of these 3 contract items at this time.
Okay, is there any question or comment on these 3 items involving either purchase or service agreements?
None.
Okay, hearing none, I'll ask for a motion for all 3 of these items.
Motion approved. Second.
Okay, a motion and second. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those 3 items are approved. Okay, on to polling places.
Thank you, sir. So we need to, the last item on the agenda on behalf of Director Kraus is a change of polling place for the June 2nd, 2020 general and primary election, and for the primary election on June 2nd and the general election on November 3rd, the following Oxford Township number 2 from the Brethren Home to the Irishtown Fire Department, 934 Irishtown Road, New Oxford. And the second one is Strabane Township number 1 from the Lutheran Home to the Department of Emergency Services at 230 Greenemeyer Lane in Gettysburg. Asking for your approval of these change in polling places.
All right, and thank you. Well, and as you can tell, these changes are being made for very obvious reasons. We're getting out of folks who are senior centers and moving, and I want to thank for the board, the Irishtown Fire Department for stepping up and accepting that move. And then obviously the other place is the DES, which is county owned. So Alex, we ask your assistance in making sure that our public knows that we have changed to polling places so they don't go to the wrong place.
Absolutely. I'll do what I can.
Okay, thanks. Okay, any other questions or comment on the change of those 2 polling places?
None.
Okay, then I'll ask for a motion on their moving.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the change in polling locations.
Second.
Okay, motion and second, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, those two polling places, are changing. And I can add at this time, we had some discussion yesterday, we anticipate the other, places remaining the same, but if conditions warrant, we do have authorization from the state to consolidate if necessary, but, right now, at this moment, that is not on the table. All right, moving on to building and maintenance. Would that be you again, Solicitor?
That would be me again. Thank you, sir. I have a recommendation this morning from Director Larry Steinauer that the Board of Commissioners approve the Adams County Courthouse Chiller Replacement Project with McClure Company of Harrisburg. McClure is a CoStarz company. CoStarz number 008376. The project includes a carrier chiller replacement of the existing chiller for the courthouse. The total cost of the chiller replacement part of the project is $246,442. The replacement requires the temporary installation of a rental chiller in our back alleyway. The cost per month of the rental chiller that will be used to cool the courthouse before and during the installation of the replacement chiller unit is $14,613 per month. At this point in time, we have no ability for air conditioning in the courthouse. We've been lucky so far that we have only had 1 or 2 hot days. But this is a necessary replacement of an extremely old unit, and I'm asking the board's approval at this time.
Do we have an estimated installation time it will take to get this new chiller in and up and running?
The hope is it will be 60 days or less.
Right. So hopefully, hopefully if a rental is required, it would be 2 months or less.
Correct. That's my understanding from my conversation with Mr. Steinauer. That sounded like the outside number at that time.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
None?
Okay. Then I'll ask for a motion on this item.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Yeah. A motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Okay. That recommendation is approved. Okay. Moving on to some commissioners' items and recommendations from our solicitor.
Thank you, sir. Before the board today, I'm asking you to approve an amendment to the Adams County policy regarding workplace COVID-19 safety measures. This policy was approved on April 22nd at a public meeting with an effective date of April 20th. The amendment that you are addressing this morning goes into effect on May 4th, and it simply changes the temperature taking protocol at the Human Services Building on days that the HSC is open to the public. This has been motivated by the fact that the court is now beginning to ramp up hearings out of that building, whereas when we passed the original policy, we were down to a skeletal staff and there were no court activities at that time. So the protocol change will now mirror what's going on at the courthouse, and it has been motivated by the court beginning to resume hearings in that building. So we're asking for your approval of that amendment at this time.
Yeah, I'd like to point out that I think that not only temperature taking is beneficial to the organization, but I think it's also beneficial to the client having their temperature taken if they in fact are asymptomatic. So just a little sidebar comment there. Any other comments or questions, or do I hear a motion on that?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
That recommendation is approved.
Thank you.
Next.
Okay, the next one on the agenda, this is Paula Nyman, the Chief Clerk, is for the board to approve and adopt the Children in the Workplace policy to be included in the county's employee handbook. This policy will be effective May 6, 2021, and this policy just provides guidelines to our employees on children within the courthouse and the workplace area. I ask for your approval.
Okay, any questions or comment, or do I hear a motion?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, delayed motion and second, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you.
I forgot to hit my mute button again.
Well, at least we didn't lose you completely. Okay, moving on to the personnel report.
Okay, if I may, this is Paula Nyman again, under the personnel report within the district attorney's office with a recommendation from the DA, Brian Sinnott. He is going to rescind the paid internship offer to Madeline Hubbard effective May 26th. The end of paid internships for Georgia Wetzel effective March 10. The end of the unpaid internship for Sarah Duria effective April 20. We also have separation of employment for Commissioner Poe. We have to rescind 2 employment offers, one to Marcy Rogers, the corrections officer, effective May 4, and Matthew Whitney, corrections officer, effective May 4. We also have the separation of employment for Cody Fuller, the MAT treatment specialist, effective April 28, and Emily McGuinn, IT paid internship, effective April 17. I ask for your approval.
Any questions or comments on any one of those items?
None.
Okay, hearing none, we'll ask for a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion second, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Okay,
Thank you.
the personnel report is approved. Thank you, Paula. Now moving on to expenditures.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is Melissa Devlin from Finance, and I'm here to request approval for your expenditures for the time period of 4/20 to 5/1, and the total in the amount of approximately $2 million. That includes both general fund and special fund, and I'll break the two down. The general fund represents approximately $1.7 million all operations and includes 1 debt service payment. And the special funds are comprised of the majority of the following 3 programs: the Children and Youth Program, approximately $202,000; the 911 program, approximately $55,500; and the Internal Service Fund of approximately $11,600. Any questions on the expenditures for this time period?
No. Go ahead.
One of the things I want to draw people's attention to is that hotel tax fund. If you look at that number, $663, I don't think we have ever seen the hotel tax fund that low. And I expect next month's report will show a similarly low number. So the effects are starting to be seen in our community.
Yeah, Melissa, I was going to ask you, for the pandemic, beside the pillar tax, is it having any other noticeable effect that you guys are observing at this time?
Yes, it has. We have, Sarah and I have been monitoring the expenditures specifically for supplies, and they range around $46,000 so far. And we know from Impact Services to get some projections of what we anticipate that we might have a loss in revenues with real estate taxes. And he did project some ballpark figures there that we submitted to CCAP for a survey that they're taking.
Okay, so do we have, what was the projection?
It was approximately $1.8 million for the real estate revenue taxes.
Okay, and do we know what percentage that equates to, by chance? I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I'm just curious as to percentage it will impact. And if you don't have it right now, that's fine.
Yeah, I do know that Daryl had emphasized that he would like to take a closer look at those numbers after the next 2 months are closed, so that we could get a better handle on more accurate figures.
Okay, I think it's pretty obvious that most governmental bodies are being impacted with decreased revenues. whether it's taxes and or parking meters fees or whatever. So, it's obviously a dynamic that when this thing slows down that we're going to have to deal with, and most governmental entities are going to have to deal with it. We're fortunate that Adams County, we're in a fairly positive, strong financial position, but it's still a dynamic that we're going to have to deal with. So thank you for that report.
Commissioner John Phillips, if I may, the approximate amount of the property taxes is $40 million a year. That's what we anticipate, just under that.
Okay.
And Daryl's work was done based on looking back toward the last economic crisis, if you will, back in the mid-2000 time frame, and looking at that default rate versus our current default rate, and projecting that this may look something like that. We don't have anything other than that history to look at this point in time.
Do we think that the fact that we have deferred discount and park periods, did they do that back then? And will that mitigate this somewhat, do you think?
I don't know that, and I just don't have any, I didn't go back to look at that. I suspect, candidly, that we probably have a better chance of doing okay this year. Personally, I'm a little bit more worried about next year. As the treasurer points out, and Chrissy Redding has pointed out, a lot of our property taxes come through escrow accounts, so that was already built up prior to the payments that are due this year. And the larger concern might be what happens when people aren't able to make those payments into the system, and we see next year coming up.
All right, thank you, sir. I appreciate the input. Okay, and did we approve the expenditures yet?
No.
Okay. For that conversation, I'll ask for a motion to approve the expenditures.
Make a motion to approve the.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you. Any other business prior to going into salary board and adjournment? Any other business for the public meeting? Okay.
Nothing.
I hear you none. I'll ask. Go ahead.
I'd just like to make an announcement, reminder to people. Tomorrow, Thursday, is the National Day of Prayer, and encourage as many people as possible to participate. We certainly do need prayer for our nation at this time.
I couldn't agree more. All right, at this time, prior to going into salary board, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn our regular public meeting.
First adjourn.
Second.
Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you very much, and at this time, we will just go right into our salary board, May 6th salary board meeting. And the first matter is to approve the minutes of the April 22nd board meeting as presented. Question, comment, or motion?
If I may, gentlemen, could I please try to get a roll call for attendance?
Sure.
I have Commissioner File, Commissioner Martin, Commissioner Qualley, Molly Mudd, John Phillips, Steve Nevada. Who else do I have? Beth Thistle.
Beverly Boyd, Profanitary.
Beverly, okay. Anybody else?
Alex Hayes, Gettysburg Times.
Thank you, Alex. Okay, thank you very much. Chairman, you can go ahead.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, so the first matter is to approve the minutes of the April 22nd meeting as presented. Any question, comment, or do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Second. Okay, a motion and second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, the minutes are approved. Thank you. Do we have any public comment per the agenda this morning? Do we have any public on the line who would like to comment for salary board? Okay, hearing no public comment, we'll move on to our next item involving the Controller's Department. Mr. Phillips.
I'd be pleased to present this piece. We're asking for approval of the general wage increase for Joshua Eisenhart, Financial Systems Support Analyst, for completion of his 6-month probationary period. He's done a fantastic job, and the position, I think, is working out very nicely in that the cross-department work has been exceptional. He's now working hard with several different departments to bring the financial systems together, and that's a plus, particularly over the last month or so.
All right, thank you. It's always gratifying to hear a success story. Any other comment on that item, or do I hear a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and second. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that matter is approved. Thank you, Mr. Controller. Moving on to the sanitary. Bev, you're on, correct?
Yes, sir. Good morning, Board.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This matter before the Board is because of the retirement of a long-term current staff member, Cindy Kidd, and we've gone through the interview process, and I bring to the Board a request to approve a replacement, new hire at $14.56 an hour for Sheila Frock as a court clerk scanner. This would be a full-time position effective June 1st, 2020.
All right. Thank you, Bev. Any questions or comment on that item?
None.
Okay, hearing none, Bev, would you like to make that motion?
I so request a motion for approval. Thank you, sir.
And a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous, so that motion is passed. Thank you, Bev.
Thank you very much.
All right, moving on to building and maintenance, a recommendation from Larry Steinhauer. Paul, is that you?
Yes, I will take over from here, and I'm going to ask for the remainder of the consent agenda. So I will start with building and maintenance. And this is a recommendation from Director Larry Steinhauer to approve the Families First Coronavirus Act due to closure of child care facility for Jesse Shaw, custodian maintenance helper. His rate will be reduced to $9.67 per hour for the time period that he does not physically work. This will be effective April 13, 2020 through April 30, 2020. I'm also asking for the 2020 3% GWI for Michael Betro, custodian maintenance helper, who has successfully completed his 6-month probationary period. He'll go to $14.94 an hour, effective May 11, 2020. Under Children and Youth Services, a recommendation from Sarah Finke, Administrator, to approve the 3% 2020 GWI for the following who have successfully completed their 6-month probationary period. Megan Perry Kostick, after hours caseworker supervisor, $49,636.86 annually, effective May 11. Randy Green, office assistant, $14.80 per hour, effective May 11. And Christina Miller, office assistant. The balance of the 2020 GWI will go to $13.52 per hour, effective May 11. Under the Public Defender, a recommendation from Kristen Rice, Public Defender, to approve the Families First Coronavirus Act due to closure of child care facility for Christina Schaefer, Legal Secretary, $11.63 or 63 cents per hour, for the time period that she does not physically work. This will be effective April 23, 2020 through June 1, 2020, unless the closure ban is lifted by the state government. Under Department of Emergency Services, a recommendation from Warden Blaine Director to approve the 3% 2020 GWI for Benjamin Parr, 911 telecommunicator supervisor, for successfully completing his 6-month probationary period. He'll go to $21.87 an hour, effective May 11. Under Tax Services, recommendation from Darrell Crum, Director, to note the pay increase for Susan Miller, Chief Assessor, for successfully completing her 6-month probationary period. She'll go to $52,895.44 annually, effective May 11. This increase was previously approved at the November 6, 2019 Salary Board meeting. I ask for your approval of the above.
Motion approved.
Second.
Thank you. That's all I have for the Salary Board agenda.
Did we just lose the chairman?
May have.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't hit my unmute button. That's a pot calling the kettle black, I'll tell you. I was talking, no one was hearing me.
Randy, it happens to me all the time.
All right. So, anyways, we had a motion a second, and those items are all passed as recommended. Thank you. So, we'll adjourn here in a moment, but just to remind you, it's 10 o'clock. We will take a short break, and let's at 10 after. We will continue our teleconference from yesterday. So after a 10-minute break,